And we are theoretically live.
Sweet.
Theoretically, Tefty's not here today. He usually runs the Twitch stream, the back end of the whole project. He's really fundamental to the whole project, and he's not here today. And unfortunately, I've been elected as his replacement, which was a bad decision right from the get-go.
And my webcam is linked to Tefty's presence. If he's not here, the webcam doesn't work. I don't know. It's really strange.
That's very strange. We'll have to get a technician in there to figure it out.
How's everyone doing? Playing
really
any
good.
Fun games? Having a good time?
I am completely addicted to Castlevania right now.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I
one?
downloaded the Switch version of the Castlevania collection. Have you guys seen this?
I've seen it. I've not played.
I think so. Yeah.
So it is. I mean, it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a collection of like the first few Castlevania games, including Castlevania 1, 2, and 3 for the NES, Castlevania 1 and 2 for the Game Boy, I think it's called Dracula's Curse. No, Kid Dracula for the NES, which is kind of a weird one. Dracula 4 for the Super NES, and then Castlevania Bloodlines for the Genesis. I think it had a different name for the Mega Drive.
Nice.
It's a really good collection. If you like those old school Castlevania games, I really like Castlevania 4. That's my jam.
Okay.
And then like kind of like moving on from there is really where I get on board with Castlevania. The NES versions are weird to me. I was too young at the time to really appreciate them.
Yeah.
I had my best friend Jesse had all 3 of them. And I remember going to his house and trying Castlevania 1 and being ultra frustrated because it has like really stiff controls and like there's this knockback mechanic. You know how you in those old games you jump and then you get hit and he flies you back into the water?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then there's like the delay. When you hit the button, you have to like cock your whip back and then you do it. Right? So like those kind of things back in the day, like little Briar was just couldn't handle. It was just too difficult. And then, it was only like a year later that Castlevania 2 came out and he got that. And that one was just impenetrable. If you know anything about Castlevania 2, it's like, it's kind of their first foray into the Metroidvania kind of thing.
Okay.
Whereas Castlevania 1 was like a level-based game where, you just went from level to level to level. Castlevania 2 had like different mansions around, and you could go to the mansions and kind of, you could go anywhere on the map whenever you wanted to, but you had to go and like get Dracula's heart, and then you had to get Dracula's ring, and then your goal was to like build Dracula and then fight him again. But it was like the translation was so shitty that the hints in the game didn't make any sense. So unless you had Nintendo Power, you could not figure this game out.
Really?
No, it was impossible.
Jeez.
And like not everybody had Nintendo Power. Like there's no internet around to look up game facts or anything, right?
Right.
True.
There was the Nintendo hotline that you could call, and we did.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you could call the 1-800 number and call the Nintendo hotline and get tips. But it was like
that's amazing.
You had to pay per minute, and it was expensive. It was like $2 or $3 a minute.
Back in the day,
like
every company had their super expensive hotline.
Right? Yeah, they did.
Because we were trapped.
Yeah, they had us trapped. So neither one of us could get very far in that. Plus, Jesse had the Nintendo Max controller. Do you guys remember the NES Max controller?
I don't.
No, I'm gonna Google it.
All right, definitely Google it. It instead of a D-pad, it has a circular slider. So it almost is like an analog stick, but it doesn't bend, like it doesn't wobble like an analog stick.
So this is where they got the 3DS pad from.
Yeah, maybe.
They brought it back all those years later. They're like, hey, hold on a minute. Let me dust this off. Hold on. Yeah, let's use this. We got all these things left over. We're going to save some money. They'll never know what hit them.
So yeah, Castlevania 2. So Jesse had the NES Max controller, and it was, I mean, the game was hard already, and that thing was impenetrable. Just use a D-pad. What the hell, man? But he had gotten it for Christmas, and he wanted to use it. You know, whatever. Then we got Castlevania, or he got Castlevania 3. And that game was well known as the most difficult Castlevania. And that was impenetrable. But by the time Castlevania 4 came around, I was old enough to actually like figure this stuff out. And that's essentially a remake of Castlevania 1, but it's on the Super Nintendo. And it features like a whip that you can do diagonally or straight up and down. And the graphics are just phenomenal. It's really fun. So anyhow, this collection, it's a really good collection. It really faithfully recreates those older games. And there's like a ton of gameplay in here. This is the first time I just actually 20 minutes before this podcast started, I finished Castlevania 1 for the first time in my life. I beat Dracula.
Oh, congratulations.
Which felt really good because that's been like a lifelong quest.
Nice. Yeah, because to be fair, I think completing any of those older games is like a huge, is like a much more monumental achievement than completing any like ultra difficult Dark Souls game right now. Because those games back in the day, there was no mercy.
Yeah.
They didn't care that you were a kid playing the game.
Yeah.
They were
so
like
hard. Lion King,
Yeah.
Aladdin, all of those games that are quote unquote for children
Yeah.
because they're children movies.
exactly.
Not at all. They were so difficult. So difficult.
Imagine buying like the Lion King for like little Jimmy for his Christmas present. He's like, yeah, the Lion King, and he sits in like first level. He's like dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
But that's what they had to do because they had so little to work with back then. A lot of those games were like arcade ports where they just bring like a coin-op game home and like put it on like a Nintendo or a Sega. And then it's like, well, the difficulty comes in that you die a lot, or like the length of gameplay. Like you'd be pissed if you finished your game in 20 minutes, right? Like if you just ran through, which is how long it takes for like a speedrunner to get through Castlevania. It's 20 minutes. It's like 13 minutes, I think. Right? If you know what you're doing, you can just bomb your way through. But like for a normal person who's playing it for, the first time, it's really difficult. So it takes days or weeks or years or decades for me.
Yeah, those games were hard. It's right now there's, I guess, not a ton of super difficult games, or you can at least choose to make games super difficult. But back then it was one difficulty and you just had to get over it.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is with the Castlevania collection is that they also include the Japanese version of most of the games. I think Castlevania 2 isn't, they don't have the Japanese version of Castlevania 2. And the cool thing about that is that when they ported Castlevania over from Japan to the United States and Europe, they made it harder, which is the opposite of what they normally did.
Yeah, they normally make it easier, right?
Right. So there's actually an easy mode. If you go to the Japanese version of Castlevania on the Switch, there's an easy mode where the main difference is there's no knockback.
Oh.
So you don't get like constantly hit backward into, water and stuff. So I beat that pretty quick. But that wasn't really beating Castlevania, right? Like that it was nice to like get through the game and kind of see everything there was to see in Castlevania for the first time ever for me.
Yeah.
But like I really wanted to beat it on my own. And I still cheated a little bit because you can save your game state on the Switch. Which, of course, you couldn't do back in the day, right? Is you had 3 lives and continues. And if you used up your, if you died on a level, it would bring you back to the beginning of the level, like the sub-level. So in Castlevania, there's like stage 16, 17, and 18. If you died on level 17, then you started at the beginning of 17 with your new life, which you had 3 of. But if you had to continue, you started all the way back at level 16.
Damn.
So it's just constant, like, you really had to make it through. But now you can save your state. So like, I made it through that section pretty good. I'll save it here. And if I fuck up in the next section, I can just load that same state with like the life and the upgrades and the the everything that you
doesn't feel right though, does it? Right? Like, it's like I went back to play Alex Kidd in Miracle World like years and years later because I got it on like an emulator.
Master System?
Yeah, the one that used to come pre-installed on the Master System. That was my first ever game I ever played. I loved it, right? And it was, but the thing is, that one back in the day, obviously, it was one of those ones where, much like Lion King, Mickey Mouse, Castle of Illusions, you get to the end, you die, you're back at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And when I got it on the emulator, it's like, oh yeah, you can save. And I went to do it, and I was like, it doesn't feel right, because if I save here and I complete it like this, have I really completed it?
Yes,
so to this day, I still
haven't completed Castlevania, and I do not appreciate you discounting my efforts.
Whoa! I mean, I'll let you have it. But for me, I was like, I couldn't complete Alex Kidd. To be fair, I think I'm really just making an excuse because I still wasn't able to complete Alex Kidd Miracle World even with saves. So really, I'm just trying to make myself feel better. That game was so hard, man.
Am I really saving again unless I am writing down the code of the save on a notepad?
Fuck all that shit, man.
That's the real shit.
Let's bring that back for everything.
Like some games, you were lucky because they had like 5, alphanumeric digits, right? But some games had like 30. So you'd be like sitting there, like, and you could just type. There's no keyboard, so you had to like scroll through the alphabet, like 30 times. Every time.
Oh, yeah, because didn't the Aladdin game have like a shortcut code system? I'm pretty sure it did.
Probably, yeah.
I remember writing down in the notebook as well, because when you played Alex Kidd, you had to fight the bosses playing rock paper scissors, and the earlier ones had like a formula. I think the later ones were more randomized, but the earlier ones it was like, okay, cool, it's rock, and then it's this, and then it's that. So yeah.
I know Castle of Illusion used the playing cards, so then you just put the playing cards in.
Oh, nice.
In the right order.
I always get
that was not as frustrating.
The Disney games mixed up. Was Castle of Illusion for the Genesis?
Master System. Because I only had the Master System, and that was Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion.
Did it come out on both?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
There were multiple like. There were multiple Konami developed. Was it Capcom or Konami? Developed like Disney games starring Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah.
Was it Capcom or Konami? I think it was Konami.
I think it was Konami, because I don't recognize that as being.
But they were all good.
They were all really good.
Yeah.
They were very.
Wait, did any of you ever play the follow-up to Alex Kidd Miracle World, the Shinobi one, Alex Kidd in Shinobi World?
No, was that good?
I didn't play
it was so good, because it was. I mean, as the name suggests, it was Alex Kidd in like a ninja shinobi themed world, but it was so cool because you had these crazy moves. Like you had all the typical platforms, but then you could go up to like lampposts and grab on and spin around and do like a little spin and fly kick into people. It was so cool.
I heard something that might have actually been originally developed as a Shinobi sequel, but then they decided to put Alex Kidd in it because Alex Kidd was the mascot for the Masters. I might be getting that wrong. But I heard something like that, and it's kind of like registering something in my brain. But Shinobi was an amazing game for the Master System. That's available on the Switch as well.
And it had an amazing soundtrack.
Yeah. Retro gaming on the Switch is actually really fun because like you don't notice that retro gaming on like a big TV, it doesn't really, it doesn't look the way you remember it, right? It looks a lot better than it did like 5 years ago when you were trying to like plug composite, cables into like an... it's a lot better than it used to be, but it still doesn't look the same. But on a Switch's screen where it's much smaller, like the graphics are kind of like more like what you remember, and like, I don't know, it's somehow very pleasing.
Oh, did you pick up sorry, I just saw your Switch. Did you pick up the controller thing for it?
Oh my god. This is made by Hori, and it's the what is this called? The Hori Switch Pro pad or something like that.
Right. I remember Briar loves his Horis.
It looks super comfortable.
It is. It's so comfortable. The analog stick is way better than the Switch Pro controller, which I realized while I was playing Castlevania, because I docked my Switch and I was playing it on the TV with the Switch Pro controller, and I was having a lot of difficulty, especially in the Dracula fight, where it's just like the inputs weren't registering the way I wanted to them. So I put the Hori pads back on the sides of the Switch, and I beat it really quick. And then I actually, I also bought the game. I bought the NES cartridge. I went to a retro store and I bought the NES cartridge because I just kind of wanted to see like how different is this, playing the original game on an NES cartridge with an NES pad compared to playing on the Switch, and it's not that different, really. Like this port of the emulation that they use for the Castlevania series is phenomenal. Like
Nice.
you really don't feel any input lag. It's really fun. I'd love to see them do more of these. Konami, especially because Konami back in the day they had so many great games.
They did.
Yeah.
They were really one of the premier developers back in the day. And
Absolutely.
this is a great collection if you like the old Castlevania games, but it's missing one game, Rondo of Blood. Do you guys remember that game?
Rondo.
I feel like the name rings a bell, but I can't place it.
It's a weird one because it only ever came out officially back in the day on the PC Engine, which was the Japanese version of the TurboGrafx 16. And it was a CD game. So the PC Engine in Japan was the first CD-based console. So it's really obscure and but everybody who's ever played it says, "Oh, this is the best Castlevania, like classic Castlevania ever made." Until probably Symphony of the Night, where the game really changes into the Metroidvania quote unquote style of gameplay. But this doesn't have that game, and it'd be really cool if it did, because that'd be kind of like an all-inclusive package of all the classic Castlevania games.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
plus, not many people would have played it, so putting it on there would be awesome to have more people experience it.
Yeah, they did a re-release on the PSP of Rondo of Blood. They remade Rondo of Blood with 3D graphics, and then if you beat it, you could play the classic 2D version. And then actually, a couple of years ago on the PS4, they released I think it was called Castlevania Requiem, that had Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think that was only like $20. It's probably cheaper now. And it was supposedly a really good port of both games. Symphony of the Night is still fantastic. Yeah, but that's been my Castlevania experience. I've been playing a ton of Castlevania.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Castlevania.
Nice. That sounds like a solid weekend, to be fair.
It is. I really recommend the Castlevania experience, like the Castlevania collection. Like, it's really fun.
I might have to pick them up because I love those games.
Yeah. And kind of, we were both playing Blasphemous at the same time. And that game is super reminiscent of those old school. Like the gameplay really feels like those older Castlevania games. So it really it just jogged my memory going back. And now that I'm not 2 years old, I can actually play the games.
Yeah.
So Anthem, there's been some Anthem news. You guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, this happened. This is breaking news.
Breaking news. So much so that it broke BioWare's blog and it crashed for a little bit.
Yes.
So there's BioWare came out and started talking about Anthem. They're basically to sum it up. They're saying that they are working on completely revamping Anthem.
Yeah, which is really cool because there was that rumor that's going around a while ago, and I think they even officially said at one point they were they're going to be working on improving the game and whatnot. But it was kind of like one of those loose top level we're going to do some stuff. Whereas now they've actually gone on record and be we still believe in it very much so, to the point where we're still going to support the current game, but the concept, because they've been doing seasons up until now, right? So I haven't been playing that too much, but they've been doing a few things in seasons. They basically said seasons as a concept will come to an end for Anthem because they need to just put the development power elsewhere, but they will still do the odd kind of seasonal, the odd kind of festival, or they said they'll refresh the store and do a few little odd things here and there and bring back some of the cataclysms, because obviously that's pre-existing content. But basically, this is their official kind of comment saying we're going to put some serious time into trying to rebuild the game. So
and they specifically said that they want to completely redo the loot experience, the gameplay loop of you going and making stuff and getting loot, going finding things. So that's really exciting. They said they're keeping the flying and the combat kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they did add to the combat. Maybe they give more moves, or I'm sure they'd have to add more mods and stuff, because that's to do with loot and the loot experience. But basically all the stuff that made people stop playing, they're going to be working really hard on completely revamping.
This is music to my ears. I'm so excited. This would really make me happy. I was this summer around before the Jason Schreier article came out, I was really concerned that they had just completely dropped Anthem. Like EA had done what EA does and just killed Anthem, right?
Mm.
Then the Jason Schreier article came out and said, actually, they're working on Anthem 2.0. And I guess I had assumed that would happen about at the 1 year anniversary, but I think this blog post is really smart because for anybody like me who'd made that assumption, this says, well, it doesn't give a timeline, but I can infer that this isn't going to be happening soon, right? They're working on this.
Yeah.
But they're completely revamping like that core gameplay loop, which is kind of the problem. Like the to me, the flying and the shooting and the magic use was fun, but it was like, it wasn't deep enough. There wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So hopefully they really kill it.
I hope so.
Yeah, because that's the
I want them to do well.
Yeah, because it was like fundamentally it was that's why even amidst all of like the hate that it got at the time, like I still carried on playing it for like a while, not because despite what the YouTube comments might like to say, not because I was being paid to play the game, but because I was like, well, it's still inherently a fun, like the moment-to-moment gameplay was fun. Obviously, the game was quite shallow, was very shallow, but for a while at least, I was still like, well, I'm still enjoying it. Eventually, that wore off because then it's like, all right, there's only so many times I can fly around the same thing and do that. But yeah, if you can take that core moment-to-moment gameplay and apply that to an actual deeper game system, then it would genuinely have been a great game. Like it had some good elements. It just wasn't. It was unfortunate that there was more wrong with Anthem than there was right. But the foundation, I feel, was right. And if the foundation is right, and you can then just flesh out the other stuff, then it has the prospect to be something good.
Yeah, the act of flying was fun, and I think that goes without. Like everybody agrees with that. The actual shooting mechanics, I think there's disagreement. Like I think it was really fun. I think other people thought it wasn't that fun. And part of that might have been what character you select, because I think some characters are more fun than other characters, which they may want to address. But like, yeah, I'm super psyched. Like if they really revamp this game and make it, can I say Destiny Killer? Can they make it a Destiny Killer?
The Destiny Killer.
It's happening finally. This time, for sure.
Imagine if that was the marketing campaign. This time, we're actually going to go Destiny. People would be like, okay, boomer.
I called my kid a boomer the other day. He almost slapped me.
Is boomer actually the insult for children who are totally not boomers? Do they get more offended? Probably.
I think it must be. Because they'll be like, don't call me old.
He looked offended.
Someone called me a boomer the other day when I jokingly said, like, when the Fast and Furious trailer came out, and I jokingly said, back in my day, Fast and Furious used to be about cars. And someone was like, okay, boomer. I was like, hey, hold on a minute. Dear. But yeah, Anthem could be cool.
Can we talk about Blue Protocol news?
Yes.
Because I am very excited.
I feel like it's time for the anime segment, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
What's up?
You want me to do it?
I learned my info from you.
So okay, sorry. You were the anime specialist. I was going to throw it to you, but fair enough. Well, okay. So Blue Protocol, we mentioned it quite some. In fact, I think we mentioned it some 6 months ago on the podcast because that was when the trailer came out, and that was when I did the original video. So 6 months ago, we said, "Wait, have we even been going for 6? We have been going for 6 months. Of course, we have. Yeah. I can't maths, but yes. Anyway, some time ago, there was a really cool looking anime cel-shaded action MMORPG developed by Bandai Namco, and it looks really, really cool. And back then there was obviously not a lot of information on it, and the time was like, oh, are we going to get it? And I feel like way back then it was like, oh, it's a much higher chance anyway because Bandai Namco are behind it, and they're just like the anime suppliers. They just bring everything over. So since then, there was obviously a closed alpha, which was for the long time under NDA. The NDA has now lifted, hence why people have been uploading gameplay where it looks fantastic. And they dropped a brand new trailer. But more excitingly, there was a job listing that went live that has actually been specifically looking for someone to handle English localization for the West. And the trademark has been registered for Blue Protocol in North America and Europe. So it is all but confirmed, albeit not through an official statement saying it's coming, but it's all but basically confirmed that we are getting it in the West. And this game looks so good.
It looks so good. This is like the game that I have just been wanting. Like I was watching gameplay of someone who's just kind of walking around the starting area and the town, and it all looks so good. This is a game I'm gonna get lost in this game. I'm gonna be gone. You're not gonna be able to find me.
Yep. It's going to be full on like SAO vibes where like we're actually just living in the world, not because we've been trapped, but because like we're just not leaving.
It's
Goodbye.
just preferable.
yeah, exactly. But from what we know so far, so we've seen there so far seem to be 4 different classes. So there's like an Aegis fighter, which is like a sword and shield one, which is my favorite one, kind of like a sort of warrior stance. It looks like he's got the ability to parry and stuff like that. So obviously you've got that cool aspect. There's like an archer, there's a mage, and there's like a dual wielding like twin axe kind of class. So typical like MMO archetypes, but because it's more of an action MMO, it's more so like that kind of visceral sort of DMC meets sort of like Soulsy kind of combat, not like in the sort of punishing Soulsy thing, but I'm trying to sort of make those comparisons. Obviously you're like dashing around, rolling around, parrying. You've got like a lot more kind of control. So it won't be typical like MMO where it's like press buttons in my palette. There obviously will be things like that, but I mean, principally it's more one of those like action focused ones. So a la like Black Desert or Blade and Soul. So definitely a lot more interesting in the look of it. But I mean, it just looks fantastic because it's like the nice thing is I think. I almost think I love cell shaded stuff more than I love realistic graphics.
Yeah.
Just because when you nail cell shaded stuff, there's a certain level of like, I don't know, visual quality that just can't be matched. Because it's just like when you see an open landscape that is just like, it looks super realistic. It's like, okay, cool, that's impressive. But when you see it like cell shaded, it's like I'm looking at a painting, but I can explore it. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
It looks like art, like
it looks
hand-drawn
vibrant.
art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It looks vibrant and it's colorful, and it kind of just it hits you as like, wow, this is beautiful.
I don't dig on anime too much. I'm looking at a trailer for this, and it just technically looks spectacular. Like it really looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's going to be beta signups in what, 2 days?
Oh yes, yeah. So yes, this is the cool thing. So there's a closed beta for Japan, but they specifically said it is not region locked. So there's 50,000 places for this beta. Opens up on the 12th. So obviously 2 days away. So technically speaking, we can all play it. It just means that it is going to be in Japanese. But if you want to play it, there's not going to be any like VPN stuff you have to do. You can literally just, as long as you get a beta code, then you can play.
Considering it's anime, I'm not going to care about the story anyway.
Well, there you go, right? And since it's like an MMO and action thing, all you invariably do is like those games are like super easy to play through. I mean, I played through Lost Ark, which is in Korean, and like at least if I play Japanese games, I can read some Japanese, but Korean, I was like, I have no idea what's going on. But you basically just play those MMOs. It's like go towards the shiny gold marker, kill things until your objective says complete, go to the next marker. It's like super easy to play. And as you say, you don't really care about the story anyway, so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, it looks like there's nice. It's been like a lot of nice improvements since the very first trailer. It looked a little bit sort of rough around the edges because obviously it was alpha, and some of the combat stuff looked a little bit like the movements were cool, but there wasn't like much hit style and stuff like that. But then look at the new trailer, it looks so good. It's definitely one of the nicest looking games I've seen in like quite a while.
Yeah. And the fact that it's a MMO, so you're going to be in that world for thousands of hours is very exciting.
Early in that trailer, there's some shots of like cities with the cel-shaded graphics that just look outstanding.
They do, yeah.
Like with
there's
the neon
gameplay.
lights and everything.
Yeah. There's gameplay that someone uploaded just in the town a little bit, and just seeing them in the town, it's so beautiful. I can't wait. Hopefully one of us gets in the beta.
Oh yes.
Is this for PC only? Is it going to be on consoles as well?
So at the moment we just know it's confirmed for PC. They haven't specified whether there'll be other platforms. I feel like given the Bandai Namco's behind it, I feel like there's a better chance of maybe being more consoles, but right now it's just PC.
Yeah, I got to agree with you about the cel-shaded graphics. It kind of reminds me of like the 2D art, like kind of like of old school games before 3D really became a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
it gives you the benefits of 3D.
Yeah, exactly right. I think that's the thing. I think that's what I love so much about it. I mean, like I can definitely still look at like super realistic games like Last of Us and like Red Dead and be like, yo, that's visually impressive. I feel like when I compare those two games, I look at those games and be like, that's super impressive and I respect it. Whereas I look at any of those things like Breath of the Wild, and that's more like, to me, that's what gaming is to me. I'm just like, gaming to me is like, I think like Nintendo, I think bright colors, I think crazy, like unbelievable worlds. I'm just like, I don't necessarily, not to say that I don't like them, but I don't necessarily go to like gravitate towards my games because I want it to be like hyper realistic where I think it's real. I'm more like, I would rather just live in a completely baffling fantasy world. So that's my spin on it anyway.
Yeah, and I love things that are hand drawn. So being able to have that kind of feel in a game is really interesting to me. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I see it and I'm like, that's beautiful right away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, anybody who's listening to this, definitely take a minute to go check out the Blue Protocol on trailer, man.
Yeah,
like I have no intention of playing this game, but it looks nice.
Yeah,
it looks really nice. Like, you know,
it's one of those ones. Yeah.
MMOs generally aren't known for their advanced graphics either.
True. I think the way they can get away with it is because from what I gathered a little bit about the additional game, although it's like an MMO, I think the zones work around like little hubs where they'll there'll be like certain number of players. I mean, I guess in like a kind of a Destiny sort of bubble instance sort of thing. So there'll be like instance areas. So you'll find other players, but it won't be like hundreds of players. So I think the idea is to kind of keep it so that if you're there doing your quest, you're not going to be like mobbed by tons of people just taking your items and stuff. So that's how they can get away with sort of some of the visual quality, because they're not actually having to handle as much stuff on screen because of the instance splits potentially. I mean, I'm not a game dev architecture man, but I'm putting my loose tinfoil hat on, thinking surely this is how it works. Press buttons, make it work.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
What is that new show on HBO where they're developing a MMO?
Oh, I think I've seen commercials for that.
I watched the first few episodes, and it's supposed to be a comedy, and it's not funny. So,
okay. Well, I thought this was going to be one of those. I saw the trailer. It looks great. I'm very excited. I'm going to go check it out tonight. No, it's Briar's watched it, and it sucks.
It doesn't suck. It's just that it's disappointing because it's made by the people.
Comedy.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's made by
maybe they're trying to tell you.
It's Always Sunny. So I thought it was going to be hilarious, right? Like that's a pretty high pedigree. But it was just, there were a couple of jokes that landed.
Maybe they're trying to tell you by they're not being funny in it, that game development is no joke and take it seriously.
Yeah.
No comedy here. We work super hard. Respect.
Yeah.
So,
it's a weird show.
Quest.
It's called what? Mythic Quest?
Mythic Quest, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. And they use real game footage, but they use it from like a variety of different games. Like they use this gameplay from what is that 4-on-4 swordplay game that came out a few years ago?
Oh no, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh, For Honor.
Yes.
Is it For Honor?
No.
It's not?
Chivalry?
Okay, well then I have no idea.
I can't remember the name of it right off the bat. Somebody will put it in the For Honor.
We just said For Honor.
Oh, I thought you said Forerunner.
No. Oh no.
Yeah, For Honor. And then they also use clips from the Assassin's Creed series, and they use clips from I think it's World of Warcraft, but I don't play that, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, it's hard to get like nerd humor right? It's like when you're talking about nerdy stuff, it's like you gotta be careful because nerds are your audience, but also your target. If that makes sense.
True.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know. Maybe other people like it better. It's not as good as Silicon Valley, that's for sure.
Fair.
Now the Phantasy Star Online 2 beta just finished. It was only on Xbox this time around, so I think a lot of people probably missed out on playing it because not everyone has an Xbox.
Yeah.
True.
But there's supposed to be no, I wasn't able to because of the whole Xbox situation.
Okay.
I wish I could have. Because this is like the creme de la creme of the RPG kind of game, right? Like this is what everyone turns to and they're like, Phantasy Star is the best. So it's really exciting that they finally brought it to the West. And I think we're going to be getting the PC beta soon.
Oh, really?
At some point.
Public?
I know.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I believe we're getting that soon.
I will definitely check that out. I played that game on the Dreamcast way back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah. I played the Dreamcast one that I think that the 2 years later was released on the GameCube, and that's what I played. So yeah, same thing. But like, yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, that is like, because I think that was like early days. I feel like that's almost where a lot of the loot driven stuff originated from, like from
Yeah.
PSO, because obviously following then, you know, had a lot of successes of that. But yeah, that's really cool. I'm hoping the beta is not region locked, so again, I can technically play it, but it's annoying that it's only North America. So like, if I'm going to play, I'm going to have to play on like American servers. They haven't even officially said in any capacity whether it is coming to Europe, so I don't know whether they're just going to peddle it in the States and just I don't know.
That'd be weird.
Maybe this. Yeah, maybe that's because it was always so weird that, like, when they even following like the announcement, everything was always specifically America. So I'm wondering whether they were doing it to test the waters and see if there's enough like interest to push it, because it's a series that otherwise for a long time, although PSO2 has been around for a long time in Japan, for all intents and purposes in the West, it's basically it might as well be a franchise that died out because, you know, it got no, you know, so I wonder whether they're maybe just pushing it to like America and thinking if it's popular enough, maybe we'll spin up servers in Europe, but there's been no messaging on that at the moment. So
there has been like a dedicated American community has just been asking, like, please bring this over.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's finally happening. Hopefully we can play it on PC soon, because then I can jump in.
How long has it been going in Japan? It's been years and years, right?
Oh man.
Ooh, long time. Yeah. When was it? The list. I have the list of it here. Here you go. So Phantasy Star Online 2 launched on PC and Vita in 2012. So 8 years.
Yeah.
And then it was then released on iOS and Android as well. And then obviously Phantasy Star originally, like Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2, Dreamcast was 2000, GameCube was 2002. So like 18 years, 20 years.
Yeah. That is a long running game.
Yeah.
And it's still so loved by so many people. So it was cool to see so many people jumping into the beta and really enjoying it. People who have seen Phantasy Star, but because it wasn't actually available in the US, they kind of didn't play it. I know you could play it technically, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't, even though they really wanted to, and they finally jumped into it and they really enjoyed it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that was a revolutionary game when it came out.
And we can play it on Switch.
Really?
Oh, is it coming?
There's gonna be a Switch version?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's crossplay.
Oh man.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, that's right. I remember. Crossplay. That's
It's
so good.
It's crossplay.
I'm so addicted to the Switch. It's like I always look for the Switch version. If I'm looking at a game, do they have this on Switch? Because I really just want to play it on Switch.
I'm exactly the same. Like everything, I'm just like the Switch, especially since getting the Switch Lite. I've got the Switch Lite and my like grip setup, and it's just the perfect system. I just sit there.
What grips do you have? The Satisfy grips?
Yeah, because it looks really nice, like with the gray one, and it's like super comfortable. But yeah.
Like the Switch is just so good. Like being able to plug it into a TV or pick it up and just like game on the couch or game on the go or whatever. It's a luxurious gaming.
And it really is. When you look at a game and you're like, do I want to have to sit at my desk and play this? Or do I want to sit maybe at my desk, maybe on my TV, maybe on a plane, maybe at my grandma's house?
Right. And
I can take it everywhere.
There are exceptions, but for the most part, I will accept a graphical downgrade to play it on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing on a smaller screen anyway, so I'm not really... Like, even Mortal Kombat 11, which I gave a really hard time on the Switch, when I'm playing like on the Switch screen itself, I don't really notice that it's downgraded that much. When I put it on TV, it's like, oh my God, I want to vomit. But
I think a lot of the time, like in motion as well, like you can kind of things can be like a bit more forgiving as well. Like if you look at it like still and you're trying to sort of like stare at it and things like that. But like when you're playing and stuff and it's moving, it's just it's great.
Yeah, and like there's been this like renaissance of like kind of like old 8-bit and 16-bit style games.
Yeah,
that are perfect for the Switch. Like the Hollow Knight Treasure. Is it Treasure Chest that just came out? That's got a physical release too. It's only like $30, but like those Hollow Knight games are great.
Hollow Knight, Dead Cells, Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight is what I was thinking about. Hollow Knight is great too.
Oh yeah.
Why do I get those two mixed up all the time?
True.
Hollow Knight I think is one of the best games to come out in like the last decade.
So good, yeah. That one I haven't finished yet. Like annoyingly, because I was playing through Hollow Knight, I was making like really good progress. I think I got about halfway through, and then something came out and. Predictably, I had to put it to the side, and then I've come back and I'm like, I'm lost. Where was I?
Yeah, it's so hard to go back to those.
Yeah.
Because you get lost. Like, even though you have the map and everything, you kind of forget where everything is. Because it's like that Metroidvania style thing. That happened to me with
Yeah.
a bunch of those. Hollow Knight, Guacamelee, and what was the other one? Ori and the Blind Forest. I had to like restart
Oh
all
yeah.
3 of those games from scratch when I came back to them because I just couldn't remember.
Mm.
I didn't remember like the sub weapons. I didn't remember locations. I couldn't figure out where the fuck to go. Didn't Hollow Knight you had to like unlock the map too. You had to like find rooms that had
Yeah.
like a special map icon in them,
Yeah.
which was
And then
really hard.
yeah, and then unlock all your different abilities and stuff. And it's just, it's so because it's not there's like a linear path you can follow. But like here's where I went, here's where I've got to go. It's like I might have to backtrack to the place from like level 1. So yeah, I want to finish it at some point, but I think I'm gonna have to like start again because there's no way I'm gonna work out where I was.
Oh no. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. Even with like TV series, I'm like, okay, I'm really enjoying it. Get busy, stop playing or stop watching. And then like a couple months later, I want to jump back in. I'm like, well, got to start all the way from the beginning.
Oof.
And then it happens again. There's some series that I've watched like the first 7 episodes and then I stop and then I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. So I have to go back and watch the same episodes and I've never made it to the end.
I just
I'm
did that,
done.
Watts, with the Evil Dead. The Evil Dead series on Stars.
Yeah.
I had started watching that years ago, and then for whatever reason stopped. So last night I was like, "Where did I leave off?" Well, I'll just start from the beginning.
You know what I've done? I've done that with there's a movie, right? And I've tried this 3 times because I only ever watch it when I'm on the plane, right? And I'm like, right, I'm gonna watch it. The Assassin's Creed movie. I like Assassin's Creed, so I start watching it, and then I fall asleep and I miss the middle, and I wake up at the end and watch the final battle. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the next flight, I'm like, right, I'm gonna watch it this time. And it's happened the same time. I literally have this void where I don't know what happens in the middle of the Assassin's Creed movie. And I'm just like, one of these days I'm going to find out.
It doesn't matter. It turns out it doesn't matter.
Yeah. True.
Fortune X just posted the Dead Cells The Bad Seed trailer.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
This is an animated trailer. It doesn't show any gameplay, but do you really need to see more Dead Cells gameplay? You already know it's fucking awesome.
There is actually a gameplay trailer for that as well, for the Bad Seed one. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, there's obviously 2 new areas. There's new bosses, but also there appears to be like different costumes for your character. There's new weapons. There's also like some special arts where like not just the weapons that you get, but there seems to be like some crazy art where I don't know. I haven't read like the details of how it works, but like there's a part in the thing where he jumps up and uses like a huge scythe to like cleave the screen. Mm-hmm. So it looks like they put some pretty cool abilities in it. So yeah, I know. And the nice thing is I saw someone ask a question on Twitter about, they were like, because I think they did one update at one point where you had to have like played through like a harder difficulty to unlock it. And for this one, they were like, no, you can just play it. Like you can access it from the start.
So, comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow,
yeah. Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that is my weekend sorted. Dead Cells was one of my games of the year last year.
Oh,
it was last
phenomenal.
year.
Was it last year or the year before?
A good game.
What was it the year before? No, it was the year before. Sorry, yeah,
last year.
No, you're right. It was the year before. I was getting my years merged. Yeah, the year before it was my game, one of my games of the year. I love that so much.
I don't like roguelikes, but goddamn, that one was good.
That one was so good. You're collecting all the different weapons, and every run you can have like a completely different play style you end up having.
Yeah.
It was extremely addictive.
The way they hang in like the glass vials.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. God damn, I love that game. I'm gonna play that game today.
Yeah, I think the reason that was so good, even if you don't necessarily like that genre, is because like normally you play like a roguelite, and if you die, it feels like such a monumental setback.
Yeah.
In Dead Cells, because it's kind of got that arcade nature, you're like, I'm dead. Let me go again. Because a run can sometimes be just 10 minutes. A run can sometimes be like half an hour. But even if you get like a really clean run to get to like the final boss, it's only really about like 30 to 40 minutes. So you can do a good run. Without feeling like it's almost like an accessible version of when we were speaking about like old school games like Alex Kidd Miracle World and stuff. You die, you start again, but you kind of don't mind. So
forgive me because it's been a while since I played it, but there's an experience system too where you actually power up?
Yeah,
every time
some stuff progress, some stuff persists. Like you'll always lose your weapons, and then you'll always lose like the progression in the level. But there's some abilities that you can then get, which of course remain through the thing. So then it means that like when you're playing through, you actually have better access to certain areas and stuff. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think that along with, like Briar said, being able to see the weapons and stuff that you've unlocked, when you die, you're like, oh, well, at least I unlocked this really cool weapon, and that's exciting. So it never feels super punishing because I never beat the boss.
I
I
didn't
never made
either.
it to the end.
I think it's time, Watts. I think it's time.
I think it's time.
I think
yeah.
we need
I'm
to
in
do
the
that.
same place. Yeah, I love the game so much, but I always got to the final boss, and like I think the last time I got him to like a slither of health, and like I literally got killed at the last minute. I was like, I'm gonna come back to this one day, so it might have to happen now.
I might have to watch a tips video.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one used to be when you get like the turrets and you make them super powerful, so you don't even attack, you just drop them on the floor, run away, and then everything just dies. I'm like, yes, that's great.
That one, like I said, I don't really dig on roguelikes that much, but that one and Rogue Legacy, I really played a ton of both of those.
I never played Rogue Legacy.
Rogue Legacy was it was similar in format, where you did you progress certain things, like you get better weapons and more experience every run. But it had this cool system where you're basically playing as the child of the person who just died every successive life, right?
Okay.
But they would have different traits. Like one person might be able to see black and white. You know, they're colorblind, so like the game would be black and white for that playthrough. Or one person might be a little shorter than normal, so like your character would be a little shorter. Or one person, like I can't remember what they all were because it's been years now since I played the game, but it was really an interesting take on it because every loop felt different because the character had different traits. And the graphics were charming. It looked like a little bit like Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh yeah.
Which is a criminally unloved series these days. Like, where's Ghosts and Goblins? What happened to that series? They used to that series used to make an appearance on every console when it came out. And I haven't seen a new like Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins in forever. The Maximo was probably the last time I remember seeing it.
That's Capcom IP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure.
Maybe Capcom's got a remake in their books.
Right? Capcom has been killing it lately.
True. Yeah, because the closest you've seen of like Ghosts and Goblins was like in either like a skin in Monster Hunter or like Arthur in MVC, right? That was the closest you got.
Yeah. But those games were super fun. Like back in the 16-bit days were like the days that I really enjoyed them the most. And they were just like really fun. They just felt good to play. You know, like they felt good. Which I think
definitely.
Is something that was really missing from that game that we played on Friday, Watts. What was that game called? I can't remember.
So we played a game called GTFO.
Oh, nope.
And it's like I guess it's kind of like a horror game. It's very similar to Left 4 Dead, but the key difference is that it has a heavy focus on stealth because you don't have a lot of ammo. They don't give you a lot of ammo for any of your tools either. Like there's a turret that you can use, there's mines, stuff like that. But they don't give you a whole lot of stuff to begin with. So you can't just go shooting absolutely everything because you're going to run out of ammo, you're going to run out of tools. So a lot of the time you have to run around with your teammates, or should I say crouch around with your teammates, and you're waiting for the enemies to not be glowing, because when they're glowing, if you move, they will attack you. So you're just kind of walking around with your teammates and you're like, okay guys, here we go, I'm going to go for this one, stop, wait, don't move, wait, okay, go forward, and then you hit him
with his big hammer. Like
you hit him with a hammer.
Sledgehammer.
So you're trying to use not your guns for as much of the game as you can because you run out of ammo. And the game is really hard. It is punishing. If you get seen, you're probably dead. It took us like 3.5 hours to finish the first level.
About that. Sounds right. Yeah. Yeah. It's an odd game. It's a really cool game because like it's got elements of all these different games. Like at the end, at certain points of the game, there's like these doors that you have to open that are going to set off an alarm, which is kind of going to create like a Gears of War styles horde mode, where you can kind of set up. Right? It's like Tefty had this like foam cannon that he could shoot at a door to make the door harder to break through, or he could shoot at the ground so that the zombies coming through the ground would slow down and make them easier to mow down. Watts and I were using turret guns, which, like she said, had like really low amounts of ammo, But between the two of us, we could take down a lot of ammos as long as Tefty was able to slow them down with the foam cannon. You can also get mines, which you can place, and then anybody who walks through the mine will get blown up. And wasn't there a fourth weapon? Oh, there was a tracker.
Yeah.
So that you could see all the enemies on the screen.
Yeah, so you can tag them for your teammates as well. So everyone sees where every enemy is, which is really nice for when you're going to a new area and you don't know exactly what's there. You can kind of tag everything and make a plan of how you want to execute stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing they have is they have an actual computer in game.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of put in commands.
So it looks like
there's
a DOS terminal, right?
It does. It looks like a DOS terminal. And there's things that you can put in, like you can say you're looking for a key card. You can search for which zone that key card is in. And then
by
when
typing
you get
out DOS commands on your keyboard.
By typing out, yeah, like query key _yellow 879, and then it will tell you what zone it's in. But the way that they make it completely not cheating is that you can only find stuff that's close to you. So if something's too far away, you won't be able to find it on the computer, because eventually there's something you can do that actually pings the location of that key card or whatever you're looking for, and it will say it is in zone 52F. It's in here somewhere. So yeah, using the computer helps you not get into situations you probably shouldn't be in, and it helps you save some time with the levels. But we only completed one. We were doing really well in the second level. Tefty was like, this is easy. And then we all got around one enemy to clobber him with our mallets in sync, and he killed all of us.
Yeah, he just wiped all four of us, or all three of us, right off the map, like
just like that. Yeah, in an instant, all of us were dead.
Yeah, and we had talked to Dado earlier about a very similar situation where he had 4 people that just all got wiped out.
Yeah,
in one hit by I think a similar dude.
Probably.
Yeah.
The boss was like GTFO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game is like, I really have like mixed feelings about this game. It's in early access, so there's like, there's a lot for them to continue doing and to, change, and it's an early access game, so maybe a year or more away from full release. My biggest problem with the game was that there were like highs and lows in the game, and the highs were really high. I was having like a blast when we were trying to like defend an area and like work together to like accomplish like the defense part of an area. But when we were out just like crouch walking around, busting things over the head with the hammer, I was so fucking bored. Like, I was literally, the hammer is not satisfying to use. It should be, because it's like this big sledgehammer that you swing, and you got to aim for the head, and like the head splatters all over the place, and it should be really satisfying, but there's no feel to it at all. And it feels almost like random chance if like an enemy is moving at all that you're going to hit him. So like you're going to hit him if he's just standing still, but if he isn't moving at all, there's no feel to it though. There's no like, you know how like Destiny just has that feel?
Yeah.
This game doesn't have any of that. Like the guns don't feel fun to shoot. The hammer doesn't feel fun to swing. The fun comes from strategizing and having a good time with your friends and the difficulty. And if they can fix that, I think they got a winner on their hands. If they don't fix that, I'm not really interested.
Yeah, I mean, I love Left 4 Dead, especially getting with a group of friends and being like, okay, let's see how far we can go, and kind of working together to take down stuff.
Yeah.
But there definitely were parts where I was like, generally, I really like this game, and it felt really good to overcome the first level because it was hard and it took us a long time, and it felt good to learn different ways to use the tools and all that stuff. But then, the hammer doesn't feel great. And considering that you are supposed to use your melee weapon for as long as possible, they really need to make sure that the melee weapons feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always going to be prejudiced against this type of game just because like these slow, kind of methodical, stealth-based games just aren't my thing. Like I've never dug on it too much just because I'm too impatient. But yeah, if they could like kind of improve the feel of the game a little bit, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think.
But they got a good start, good bones here.
They do, yeah. I think the game visually looks really cool. It's got this really nice atmosphere to it. So they've nailed that, which is actually kind of hard to do, to get just the feeling of a game being scary and stuff.
Yeah, it's so dark.
It is very. There is one level that's basically complete darkness, and you need glow sticks. So
Yeah.
Okay.
That mechanic is really cool because you can throw out the glow sticks, and you'd think it'd be like to distract enemies, but it's not. It just like lights up an area so that you can see. It's kind of a cool mechanic. I like it.
So the enemies react to flashlights, but they don't react to glow sticks at all. So in dark areas, you want to be throwing down glow sticks so you can see where you're going.
What did you think about it overall, Watts? Like, did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you like? Are you kind of on the fence about it?
I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think that if we were to get a group of 4 together and do it, I'd have a really good time playing it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I'll be like, oh, let me jump into whenever they put matchmaking in. Let me jump into matchmaking and play this game just on my own.
No,
so,
that wouldn't. I'll never do that.
No. Generally I liked it, but yeah, the melee feeling not great is a big problem considering how much you need to use it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that was really my only gripe.
Yeah. Like I always have fun when I play with you guys, right?
Yeah.
So like I always trying to like separate. Am I having fun because Watts and Tefty are being assholes? Because that's fun.
Yeah.
Or am I having fun because this game is fun? Like I had a great time playing Wolfenstein Youngblood with Tefty in a game that really wasn't that fun.
Yeah.
True. So it's like it's hard to separate sometimes.
It is, yeah. I think especially with these games, I think these types of games are always better in a group.
Yeah.
It can get kind of not great when you're just with random people.
Not being able to communicate would be a death sentence in this game.
It would be really bad.
What was the game that we played? Was it Revenant that we played this summer? That was like
The Remnant from the Ashes?
Remnant. Yeah. The difference between this game and that game was that that game, it just felt good to shoot stuff.
It did.
It felt good. This game
not many games do, actually.
Right.
A lot of games seem to fall short of just guns feeling good to shoot.
Yeah. Like Borderlands, the difference between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3 was that the Borderlands 3, it felt so much better to shoot guns.
Yeah,
definitely
did.
Oh, it's interesting. It's worth checking out. GTFO, I think, is like $30.
It's around $30.
Like if you got a group of friends that maybe like you raid together in Destiny a lot, like it might be just up your alley. But I mean, it's definitely early access. It feels early access still. We got anything else we want to talk about today?
I think that might be the show.
Yeah, I think that might be.
Wrap it up.
Sidequest complete. Bling.
Yeah, there's the bell. That's what we need.
What are you guys doing this week? Anything special?
What's this week? Oh, that I can't say yet, but there's some stuff on towards the end of the week you should definitely watch for.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah. also,
Thursday or Friday end of the week.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just also all week.
There you go, right? But also
YouTube/Erics.com and just hit refresh all week.
There you go. You got it. But Bleeding Edge this weekend as well. Don't forget, guys, to play your beta, the closed beta. You can sign up if you got Game Pass. You can just jump in anyway. So get some cheeky Bleeding Edge in instead of Valentine's Day, because you get a Valentine's Day trail for your hoverboard, so you don't want to miss that, right? So you can use that as an excuse to skip.
Do you have to, if you have Game Pass, can you just jump into the beta, or do you have to sign up and get invited to it?
I think you still need to sign up, but my understanding is if you have Game Pass, you can get in. So I don't think because it's supposed to be a pre-order beta, like you just pre-order and you get access. But I think through Game Pass, you can just do it anyway. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. It's a game that it's kind of hard for me to judge if I'll like it or not before actually playing it. So this will be good. I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah.
Dreams comes out Friday too, which I'm kind of interested in.
Ooh, yeah.
What's Dreams, Briar? What interests you about Dreams?
This is one of those games that is it's a tool set for people in the community to design basically full games. It looks like. I know it's been out in beta for a long time. I haven't really checked it out much in beta, but people have told me it's phenomenal. So it's getting its retail release on Friday, and I think I'm just gonna pick it up. I'm never going to create anything in it, but I'm just going to boot it up to see what people come up with in it, because it looks like it's going to be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll try it out for sure.
Yeah.
And hopefully
Mm.
Bleeding Edge this weekend. Which is
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the Bleeding Edge, in case you didn't know, it's like a class brawler. So
Yeah.
I'm interested. And it's made by Ninja Theory, which kind of hit me out of left field.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's made by
That
Ninja
perked my
Theory.
ears up.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's definitely. It feels nice to play for sure.
Ooh, that's good to know. I'm excited.
So
All
there you
right.
have it.
Should we wrap
I
it up?
think that's it. I think.
All
Sweet.
right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Do you guys want to do sign-offs?
Yeah, I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me at Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts.
And you can find me over on Arix Gaming on YouTube or Arix on Twitter or on Instagram if you want to follow some random things and find out what I'm cooking during the week. Because, I cooked the best steak today. You don't want to miss those stories.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You find me at the Retro Gaming Store trying to find a copy of Batman for the NES.
Perfect.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Take it easy.
Bye.